morning and welcome back to Morning Markets from True Potential. Paul Durrance, Investment Director. We start today by just looking back at last week at stock market returns. We saw positive gains from all of the major stock indices. That's the second consecutive week of positive gains, so that's really getting 2023 off to a very good start. US equities up 2.7% last week, and really it was just further optimism from investors about the US economy as inflation continues to trend lower. We heard from Jeff on Friday, who talked about the US inflation report that was released on Thursday. When we looked at the numbers, inflation fell from 7.1% down to 6.5%. That's at a 14-month low, and it continues to trend downwards, which is really, really important. When we look at the month-on-month figure, inflation fell 0.1%. That's the first fall in over 2.5 years. So that's feeding through into better sentiment on the business front, on the consumer front, and investor front. On Friday, we had the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index that rose to a 9-month high. So that's filtering through, and that's helping drive equity market returns so far. In terms of this week, we'll have corporate earnings. Really important because it's ultimately looking at the fundamentals of a stock, and that helps gauge where the price should be. We have US banks kicking things off. They kicked things off last Friday with the likes of JP Morgan, Citigroup, BlackRock, and Wells Fargo. The earnings, all but one, beat analyst estimates, which is very positive. Looking at the sales were a little bit more mixed. It's important not only to look at the results for the last quarter of last year, but also thinking about what management are talking about for the year ahead. There was a bit more of a cautious tone from the likes of JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, talking about the pressures that they're expecting on net interest income. On a positive front, they were a bit more optimistic, or saw a bit more of a benign outlook in terms of credit and defaults, although provisions were starting to pick up higher as the US economy continues to slow. So we'll have more banks and financial results this week. We'll also hear from the likes of Netflix and Procter & Gamble, so please stay tuned as we'll keep you up to date with those companies. In terms of looking at economic data this week, fairly busy week. We have the latest inflation readings from the likes of Japan and the UK, which will be important to see if they trend lower. We'll also get economic data from the US with producer price inflation, and we also get retail sales, as well as several housing data series. In terms of China, we'll get their fourth quarter GDP results, as well as retail sales and industrial production. So it'll be a very busy week. We'll keep you up to date, so please stay tuned.
If you're interested in taking your investing to the next level, or would like to know more about the options available to you when you retire, then download our free guides to ISAs and pensions. These are available in the video description below.